thanks for taking your time and coming over and talking a little about your volleyball team and just we hadn't been in the studio for a while, and I tell you, COVID affects everybody. But kind of talk about last year, COVID, some of the things, the issues you had to come through, some of the things you had to fight through to get to open up the season,
Well, last year
and the
was
disappointments you had
yeah.
through that.
Well, last year was interesting because we were able to start some kind of practices in August or so. They were very small. We had to do masks. We had to do temperature checks. We thought we were going to have a season, and then the Thursday before I think the season started, everything was yanked from us, and there was pure disappointment. The coaches, the parents, the students. And it was a tough course in the sense that, the season was yanked from them, and we had to kind of do something. So I think a lot as the coaches, we did other things to keep them, just kind of active. We got on their Google Meets with their class time, made them do some activities and stuff like that. And we just had to kind of reach out to them because there was a lot of depression, a lot of just, uncertainty in these kids. They were affected big time by COVID, and a lot of kids and a lot of students across the state were affected. And I think us coaches, we had to reach out and do things. But I think we're trying to overcome now, and we still have some of these procedures that we still have to follow. But at least the kids are playing right now.
Well, uncertainty. You said the word uncertainty, and I think it was a day-to-day uncertainty too.
Right.
That I think that wasn't an uncertainty, even when the season started in the spring. It was like I mean, I think the words, what was put on. You didn't know if they were going to play a game. I mean, even though the season started, there was a lot of uncertainty whether it was going to make it through the year.
Well, that it was even come, I guess, when our season was supposed to start. We had to fight to try to get back in because APS, we were kind of left out. Some other school districts across the state were left out. And so we didn't even know what we were going to do. And then we ended up kind of, okay, we're going to have some kind of a season, but we're not going to be participating with NMAA. So it was a day to day. And even now we're uncertainty as things change weekly with the protocols. A lot of, we were unmasked, now we're masked. That's probably going to continue for at least another 3 or 4 weeks. We've had roster limitations for state now come in. We're down from 14 to 12. So there's things that are changing all the time.
Well, and I think as a coach and administration, could you say one thing and then sometimes you have to retract what you just said the week before, the 3 days before.
Right.
And how do you keep? How do you keep the student athletes engaged with when you're having to retract, and then you also have to really? It becomes a little political, a little bit of thing, just where you keep it in contest. I think the bottom line is we're playing, so just
And I think that's the big thing is that you kind of keep them, you redirect them and focus on your playing and just in the game that they love and the sport they love, and not then let them worry about the political portion or what's happening, as long as we are playing. And I think that's the focus that a lot of us coaches just kind of keep telling, look, we're playing, just whatever rules we have to abide by, we have to do that. So I think that's the thing, is just keeping the focus on the sport and the game that they love. We're able to have fans, we're able to do a lot of things that we weren't able to in the spring. So I think that you just kind of keep everything positive.
Going back last year, and I want to speak of ProView Networks a little bit, and we didn't miss very many volleyball. The fans couldn't come in. I mean, I think we probably missed one or two games. I mean, everybody had like a 10 or 11 game schedule or whatever. And I want to thank my staff and all the people. They really we did the C team and the JV, and
Right.
and they probably weren't very happy with me at the time to come in, and we were doing multiple sports. It wasn't just volleyball; it was football, and I had a conversation with Kenny basically, and he said just take care of the indoor sports because we can get at least we can get some of the outdoor
Right.
sports where they can come in and see, and then. I tell you, you talk about, you're judging out of starters and who not to play and all that. We were like, which team do we, because there was like eight volleyball games,
Right.
9 volleyball games in one night. Luckily for us, that some of the teams got COVID. It wasn't a positive way, but
Yeah.
it was like a relief from ours where we could go to other gyms, but we were really only, of all the schools, we only missed, a couple volleyball games of each school, and it wasn't all La Cueva, and it wasn't, but we covered a lot of it. But I just, and volleyball is so big now, and I want to thank all the coaches and the deal, but the enthusiasm of volleyball just in the last 10 years has just gone to a different level.
It has. I mean, I think what has helped us is the club world. A lot more girls are playing club. The fan base is great. I mean, the Metro tournament, there was a lot the stands were packed for all those games. I think just people, the love of volleyball has come out, and it's we have a huge fan base. We have a lot of participation. At La Cueva, I had about 65 girls come out for my teams, which is incredible. We usually only get about 40. I think just people are playing volleyball and they just love the sport.
Well, I tell you what an atmosphere you've created at La Cueva, or I wouldn't say it's just La Cueva itself. Just athletics is on a different level than a lot of schools. There's a lot of basically every program it tries for that blue trophy, and it's. I tell you, I was kind of overwhelmed when I saw all the people that are. I went to a game when y'all played Cleveland last week.
You know what it is? I think it's just at La Cueva. We do other schools are getting a huge fan base, but we're lucky as our students are coming out, our parents are real active. The other schools are coming out, so it wasn't electrical. I mean, it was just basically a great atmosphere the other night against Cleveland. We're expecting a huge crowd on Thursday when we play Cibola, because that'll be kind of they beat us.
Revenge game?
Revenge game. Yep, it's a revenge game. So it's also Cibola's homecoming, so they're going to have a huge fan base. I don't think they have a football game, so they're kind of using their volleyball game as a homecoming. So it's electrifying that volleyball has turned, and the students are coming out. For Metro, El Dorado's student base was incredible when they were playing Sandia. They got ruckus. It was really neat. We were on the other court, and all you could hear was the El Dorado boys just yelling for their team.
Well, Steve, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week and come back and touch on that magical moment when the season started last year.
All right.
I got to work with him at Highland.
Going back up the middle, down the left side, and Ayala might break it to the house, and he does. 31-yard touchdown run for Ayala. And then just like that, 3 plays, Coach, the Mustangs are on the board.
Yeah, they are.
Two teams are responding.
Good serve by Emma Villapondo. Jordan Joe with another kill.
Armenta with Cavanis to his left. No, I beg your pardon, it was not Cavanis to his left. We'll dump it off for the completion to Aiden Mitchell. Mitchell down the sideline, still going. He's finally chased down from behind.
Picked up there by John Teague of Los Alamos. Oh, that's a nice ball. Kicked ahead, and that's a shot on goal attempt. It's good. First goal of the game is by number 15, Alex Levescu. Levescu, the forward midfielder, strikes first for the Hilltoppers. They lead 1-0. Well done, Coach.
Kalajic for the match, and she puts it away in straight sets. Momentum back to pass. He's gonna float it up for Ayers. Exodus with the catch. Welcome back, Exodus Ayers. Touchdown Bears.
And that's
So it's out to the 36-yard line. First and 10, Olivas. He's going for it all, looking for the other quarterback, Franco. Complete. Touchdown, El Dorado. No flags on the play. 36 yards.
Knows ahead of the pack. That's a
Wow,
speed
he's
race.
got
Badella
speed.
coming in all the way out. Be a one-on-one situation. There's an easy goal for number 11 of Los Alamos, John Teague. So that's the third goal.
We're going to fake to Bowie on the slant up the middle. That's complete. Big run and plenty of yards after the catch. And Caleb Garcia, or excuse me, Mason Kroll is to the house for the touchdown.
look at the wheels by the big man there. State coaches recruiting in the state.
Yeah.
Anyway, all
This
good.
ball is kicked off here, and it will be a faked end around coming up the field, drawing
Wow.
through, and I
Oh my
think, Roger,
God.
that's an exciting start
Way
to the
too
game.
easy.
Yeah, Caden Valdez, he will go in for the touchdown, and the Hawks are now up 6-0. There are 11 seconds off of the clock.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Steve Davis Show. We got Steve Archibald, the head volleyball coach at La Cueva High School, and I want to touch a little bit on, back last spring, when APS actually killed the sport, and for people that don't know, you're an attorney, and your real job. And people
Right.
might not realize that you're a volleyball head coach, but your real job is your attorney. And I'd like to talk about a good friend of mine that passed last week. It was Mike Danoff, and you and him. I'd like you to just tell me the story how you and him got involved and how you got, y'all were a big impact on helping the MMA and helping APS and helping the whole state get sports back in.
So, Steve, how it kind of started was at La Cueva, us coaches got together and we met with our athletic director, and we were kind of disappointed what was happening with APS and the sports. And so we shot around some ideas saying, look, we need to do something. And so I said, you know what, let me reach out to some attorneys. Maybe we can do an injunction, or we can do something to help these kids out, because we saw a lot of kids just falling off, and they were depressed. They were not hanging in. They needed an outlet. So, I kind of made some calls to some local attorneys, and Mike said, yes, I'll do it. And let me know what I need to do. Let's get this done. There was a few things he needed to take care of. Personally, because he was representing another school district, so he took care of that, and we got on board. Him and his sons, we met with some fellow parents with El Dorado, Volcano, La Cueva, and we kind of got the students on board, and we took it through the student side is that they're basically getting the raw end of the deal. So he made some calls. We got some paperwork filed and ready to file a lawsuit with Danoff as our attorneys. We raised some funds, as everyone knew, would let him play kind of through a GoFundMe. And we did that, and we were able to get ourselves in the door, opened up. APS got their paperwork filed, which allowed us to play. We had a shortened season, but through the efforts of Danoff making numerous calls to the governor's office, to PED, getting paperwork filed, getting our injunction ready to go, we were able to kind of start letting the fall sports and then the spring sports and the winter sports and everyone kind of jumping on board. But I think it was just a catalyst also for the other school districts around the state to kind of jump in as well. I know it was just APS and the focus. We tried to also get the Los Lunas school districts, but it was, I think it was a good thing we were able to get in and play. And Danoff did a lot, and his sons did a lot for APS and, well, for us, the schools and the athletic programs.
Well, the sons are Brett and Ryan. They're twins, and Troy, the older, that played at UCLA. A lot of people know Troy Danoff from UCLA, but Brett and Ryan, they're kind of the guys that behind the scenes, work for Mike. And not only you ask him to work with you, but you also you've gone against him in court. And I'd like you to speak on how it was to go against Mike.
Well, that was the interesting thing, is that we're both attorneys, and when I practice a lot here in Albuquerque, I'm primarily in Sandoval County. We used to go against each other in domestic relations cases, child custody, divorce cases, and it was, when you saw the Mike Danoff, you knew you had to be prepared. You knew that you had to have everything well documented, because he was going to be well, taken care of, and his clients were going to be taken care of. So, he was a great attorney, great actually advocate for youth sports here in Albuquerque. So not only, his attorney speak, but he did a lot for athletics, and his, his ability he was very personable, and he also got things done for his clients. He was a tough opponent in the legal field, but he also was great to work with because we got things done.
Well, the thing about it, he was fair. I mean, fair for both. I mean, he had, I guess, a second sense of really understanding the situation from both parties, and he could push the law to the point, or he could also be realistic and making things where both people felt comfortable at the end.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is he was fair and he was well prepared, so he knew the weaknesses and the strengths of both sides. So that's what law, you basically want to do, advocate, is you want to be fair, but you want to advocate for your client, and you want to make sure that your client is well represented, which he always did.
Well, I want to thank you personally. I mean, I know you guys didn't get a lot of credit, but I know that you guys I know Mike and you were staying up all night long, like you said, making those phone calls, making those letters, and doing that. And truthfully, it was a team effort, and nobody can say one deal, but without the legal part of it, this thing would have never really happened.
You know what? I think it was a team effort. Not only the Danoff law firm, athletic departments from El Dorado, Volcano, La Cueva.
The students.
Yeah, and the students.
I mean that was you had little rallies here, and it just got contagious, and and it wasn't just La Cueva. All of a sudden, everybody was saying, right, we're the ones that are being wrong, and we have a voice in the community. And I think that this, something the students that were in this era, in this pandemic, will learn a lot from what happened in the future.
And it was a student. This was kind of student driven. I mean, they're the ones that set up the rallies. They went up to Santa Fe, and another credit is our media. Our media, we were able to use them, and they carried our story. And I think that was a vital part of us getting back, was the media, because they wouldn't let the story die. and we were able to reach out to them and tell them, look, this is what's going on, and they led that story, which I think in the public's eyes, got fire to the governor's office, to PED, to help us to get the kids back playing again.
And at this time, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk sports.
All right.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Steve Archibald, the head volleyball coach at La Cueva High School. And Steve, again, I want to say one last thing with Mike. He's going to be missed, but he'll never be forgotten. And the stories that he has in his life will never be embellished. They were all true, and he will be missed. But back to La Cueva and just volleyball in general. We touched on that first segment. The enthusiasm. There's not a big disparity as before. Usually, every team, every coach is really. You got to play your best every time you go out.
Yeah, I mean, volleyball is like you said, has grown, and more.
Well,
kids.
Rio Rancho early was the dominating. It was like Coach Manzanares. It was like the guy that everybody wanted to beat. Now it's changing back into the metro area, and it's La Cueva, because you won back-to-back state champions in 2018 and 2019, and a little upset because you're not. I think 2015 you won the metro championship every year. So.
Right. You know what? We've had a target on our back for numerous years, and I guess it's a good and a bad thing. A good thing is that people want to play at your level, but the bad thing is that they bring their best every night to play you. It's a good. We've built a program there, and I'm happy that what we've done. We have a really good team this year, and we lost the other night to Cibola. Cibola's a great team. You also have Centennial down south, and you have the Metro, the club volleyball has just helped tremendously. More girls are playing. The schools are getting a lot better. So day in, day out, every time you play, you have to be prepared. And tonight we have Academy. Academy's good. We have
defending state champions, and boy, they're good.
Yeah. They lost a lot of their players from last year, so they're kind of rebuilding, but they still got a good program. A lot of their girls are really good athletes. And then the big showdown is on Thursday with Cibola. That's what we're looking as our revenge night. And Cibola is just young, and they're good. I mean, so they had a good game plan to beat us in the Metro Championship. But I think our girls will be well prepared and ready to go on Thursday night.
And I want to say, it's just not, the metro area that volleyball's big. It's statewide. I mean, I think Centennial is the team right now that y'all are looking at and saying, it seems like it's Centennial, La Cueva, Cibola. No disrespect to Cibola, I should probably say Cibola. It should be up there right now, and but you're going to play them. But the statewide volleyball, you got to be proud. I mean, you started coach. Help me out there. When did you start coaching? When did you become a head coach?
Actually, I was head coach in 2014, and I had been coaching previously since 2008 at La Cueva and then at Sandia Prep. I did a stint at Cibola back in college years, and so I've been around for a little while. Not head coach now for 7 years.
Well, I tell you, to see your program grow, but it's not only your program, it's all the programs, and it's amazing, the fan base that we get from ProView. Volleyball is one of our top watched sports now.
Oh wow, that's good. That's really good. I mean, you're right. It's just the metro area. The volleyball has grown. Down south has grown. I mean, you got Santa Fe. Last year was a really good team. You've got Farmington, Pedro Vista. So all throughout the state, volleyball has just grown tremendously. A lot of coaches are just kind of taking the time to build their programs, and it's statewide volleyball is grown, and it's gotten a lot better, the competition.
We've last year it just seemed like you have talent, but it just seems like you reload every year, and somebody graduates. And you help me with her name, the leading scorer,
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, and what a dominating force she was, and so electrifying to watch, and the energy she brought to the table.
So Aaron Jones was back, and you probably also referencing Sydney McIntosh. Yeah, Sydney McIntosh, who's now at New Mexico State playing. But we, like you said, it seems right now that I'm kind of just reloading, and I've really got a good JV program. I've got a 6'2", 6'3" girl. I've got another 6 foot that'll come in next year on varsity. So there'll be some spots that seniors graduate, but it'll be some reloading again. So I think for a couple of years we'll be pretty good.
Well, the fan base. I reflect back on this. People need to get out and watch the energy that volleyball brings, the excitement. It's quick, it's fast paced, and it won me over. I've talked about the athletes of the women and girls, and you've seen it, and talk a little bit about how the sport's evolved.
Well, it is. I mean, if you look at a game, or you look at coming and watching it, it's a beautiful sport. It's a finesse sport. There's just a lot of action, and these girls can hit a ball over 50 miles an hour. They can dig a ball. It's a beautiful sport to watch. And once you get watching one game, you get addicted to. And that just as me as a coach, I love coaching volleyball. I used to play back in middle school and high school, so it's just a fun sport. But it's fans come out and they become addicted. You have club sports. They travel with their daughters. It's just become more and more like the club soccer world. I think club volleyball has just grown to be the #1 club sport in the nation.
Well, Steve, I want to thank you for coming on the Steve Davis Show, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you.